Hello, tonight I'm testing out the Bresser 60mm classic f15 refractor. Proper old school long tube refractor, what you imagine a telescope to look like. When you asked to draw one, it would be something like this. It would be a long tube on a tripod. This is on a very basic altazimuth mount, which seems to move quite nicely. But how does this work as a potential affordable telescope for anyone starting out or for children? Now, optically it should be pretty good for its modest 60mm aperture lens because it's bending that light ever so gently down that long tube. So the optics should be pretty well corrected. It shouldn't show too much in the way of colour fringing. The field of view should be fairly flat. My concern is the narrow field of view with the included eyepieces, because two of the three eyepieces are a design that hails back to the 1660s. Christian Huygens, the astronomer, invented the Huygens lens. So the lenses included are a 20mm Huygens, which is going to give 45 times, a 12.5, which is going to give 72, and there's a 4mm, which is quite frankly ridiculous, giving over 200 times, and that's over the theoretical limit of this telescope. A rough rule of thumb for small aperture telescopes is to use a maximum magnification, which is twice the aperture in millimeters. So if this is a 60mm objective lens, you want to be using a maximum of 120 times. So that 4mm that they've included in this, completely useless. So I don't know why they've included that. Optically, it will get away with these cheap eyepieces because a very gently sloping light cone is going to be quite kind on these basic eyepieces. Okay, so here goes the 20mm. My hands are freezing already, but let's crack on. Ooh. So let's use the finder. Now, as I mentioned, I've not got this set up properly, but it's not miles out. So I've got Jupiter roughly in the finder where I'd hope to find it. I'm sinking into the ground. Quicksand. I can tell this eyepiece has got super narrow field of view, even though it's the widest field of view eyepiece that comes with the telescope. I'm actually struggling to find Jupiter.
Telescopes curse their fate, finder scope frustrates Jupiter. Where you hid, narrow view, I'm living!
I'm going to try putting in a Plossl eyepiece or something like that. Okay, I've got a Plossl eyepiece. These are about £20. They give pretty sharp views. It's got 52 degrees field of view, which isn't particularly wide, but it's probably quite a bit wider than this Huygens. So I'm just going to swap it out for this one and just see how easy it is to find with a standard finder eyepiece, which is pretty much what a 25mm Plossl is, or a 32mm Plossl would also be a good finder eyepiece. Right, what have we got then? Yeah, found it straight away. That's balmy. Okay, so I'm finding the finder eyepiece, the 20mm eyepiece that comes with the telescope, not very user friendly because I've not found Jupiter with it. But as soon as I popped in a basic 25mm Plossl eyepiece, the field of view kind of opened up and it was just much easier to find Jupiter, and the view is actually quite nice. It's still there. This has got a much wider field of view at 52 degrees, so I'm estimating this has got probably 35 degrees field of view if we're lucky. Okay, it's quite windy tonight, so it is buffeting this long tube and it is occasionally wobbling the view of Jupiter, but with a very low power eyepiece I can still see a couple of weather belts and 3 of its moons, and it looks really sharp. The stars look pretty nice out to the edge, as I'd imagine it would be with such a telescope. So now I've got this centered, now I've got Jupiter centered. Let's swap out and see how the included 20mm 45 times magnification finder eyepieces. Okay, so I've now got, that is such a narrow field of view. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if this is closest to 30 degrees field of view, which is strange because I thought Huygens were around about 35, 40. Okay, we've got pin sharp moons. This isn't quite as sharp as the Plossl, it's a bit fluffier, but I can see the weather belts on Jupiter and the moons with an £115 telescope. Could look at it that way, couldn't we? Let's try the 12.5mm, which I think is realistically the highest power, giving 72 times. Technically, you could probably go to 100 times with this telescope, realistically, but with the included eyepieces, I wouldn't go beyond that 72. So again, I think I'm going to need another eyepiece to act as a finder. So I've got my Stella Lyra 12.5 LER, long eye relief eyepiece, and that's got 55-degree field of view. So I'll use that to actually get Jupiter in view and then swap between the two. Got it. Things are getting a bit narrow now, even with the 55-degree. And I'm going to have to turn this light off, I think, just so it's dark. Let's turn this one off as well. Okay. Kitchen light's on still, so there is quite a lot of ambient light, and there's a street light over there and a window light on over there, but this is suburbia, isn't it? Okay, so I've got a bigger image of Jupiter. I'm still getting some light bouncing in from somewhere, but yeah, a couple of caramelly looking bands. The image isn't quite as sharp, I don't think. At this moment in time, I think the Skywatcher Mercury 707 is possibly a slightly better option. The wind's catching this longer tube. It's bouncing around a little bit. Let me try, I mean, this is the good eyepiece. I'm not that impressed. But 72 times. Let's try the included Huygens 12.5. Where's it gone? The field of view is so narrow. Oop, there you are. Ooh dear. There we go. But I'm getting a bigger image of Jupiter, a couple of weather belts, 3 moons, and some kind of ghosting. It has only got basic magnesium coating, a single coating. Let me try something like a 15mm Plossl. Okay, so there's none of that light bouncing around, so it's at 12.5 Huygens that's a problem. I think I'm going to, visually, I'm drawing a conclusion here. This would be fairly good if it was just upgraded to some basic Plossl eyepieces, but the eyepieces included are absolute junk. It's not just the optical quality, it's the field of view. It just doesn't match such a long focal length. It's just such a narrow field of view to try and find objects with that it's not really practical for anyone who's starting out, or even people with some experience. It takes a while to find what you're looking for. So yeah, I'm not going to recommend we sell this with these eyepieces. I like the depth of focus, it stays in focus really nicely. I like how lightweight it is, I like the design, I like the seating position, super comfortable. I don't like the finder that's difficult to line up with the main telescope, which kind of goes hand in hand with the narrow eyepieces to cause a bit of mayhem in terms of the usability of it. I thought the low power views are very good. Like I can see weather belts on Jupiter and the moons for a relatively affordable price, which is pretty good. I'm sure it will do Saturn justice in that respect as well, and the craters on the moon justice in that respect. I'm not even going to try the 4mm, that's just pointless. The 12mm is rubbish, and that's only given 72 times magnification. This telescope should be able to do about 100 times, theoretically 120 times. But why are they including a 4mm eyepiece, which is going to take it over 200 times? But I do like the idea of a classic refractor, and this seating position's probably the most relaxed viewing you can have, I'd say. Pretty good for kids as well, because they can reach the eyepiece. Okay, all I want to do now is thank everyone for watching, my channel members and my patrons, thank you so much, and I'll catch everyone on the next video.